Hey guys, it's Wendy Hutchinson with Alinea Life Coaching and the Path of Me, and I'm here today with the lovely Patsy Balacchi to talk about kind of what's going on in the world with this coronavirus. Welcome, Patsy.
Thank you for having me again, Wendy. Lovely
Thank
to
you
be
for
here.
joining. If you could just share your background and who you are and what you do before we get started with our conversation, that would be awesome.
I love that. I am Patsy Balacchi. I am the creator of Zonlatica. I am a brand strategist, feng shui consultant, light master, Marconic practitioner. I combine all energy balancing modalities, multi-vibrational, high vibrational modalities into my work. That way I make my clients shine brighter, especially during this time of, I would say, uncertainty, challenging, and all that. It's good to be here at this present time, offering my skill sets, visual brand, harmonizing energies from the inside out. So thank you for
I love that. I love that. Patsy, what's your take on kind of the bigger perspective around what's happening right now with all of these shelter in place orders? I think we just got a more stringent restriction placed on us in Houston. I haven't tapped in. But what's your take on all of this? Globally, locally, spiritually?
On a mundane level, I think we're going through domino effect. I think from the sources that I've been reading in regards to how China has handled this situation, it looks positive, but it doesn't look so that way when other countries like Italy or including the United States are not taking those same measures that they were. They were extremely drastic, as you know. The whole country was in complete shutdown, but it helped them. It helped them really come to a place of where casualties are minimal.
Yes.
But
And we should share also that your husband's Italian. He's from Italy. So has he been in contact with his family there, and what's it been like for them?
he's been in contact with them pretty much every day, every other day. It's very interesting when you deal with the elder generation in comparison to the younger generation. We're in our, I would say, late 40s. And the younger generation is definitely more optimistic, and which is fine. They understand that the older generation does not really grasp this, at least in his family. His father, he's just living his life as nothing really happened.
Really?
And yes, and right now he's recently widowed. It's going to be 2 years in May, and he's been going through a lot of emotional stuff ever since then. In a way, he has isolated himself from family. This coronavirus has actually pivoted him to a much higher level of really being on his own. He's not really looking for help, and that's okay. He's still able to go to the supermarket. He's still smoking cigarettes, and
life goes on for him.
He goes to the supermarket every day because he has no help. And even the lady that was taking care of him, housekeeping and all that, is not able to go anymore. Everybody's on lockdown. My brother-in-law has two little kids, and they've been home for 6 weeks.
Oh my gosh, 6 weeks.
Yeah, they're 4 and 5.
Wow.
And it's really something. They're kind of bouncing off the walls right now.
I can imagine.
And I don't know how, he doesn't really talk about how the school system is treating this. So there's a lot of, they definitely need to be more mindful of their energy. They really do. The parents, especially the parents. The kids entertain
I
themselves.
think they do, but they sure respond to the parents' energy. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. It's
And
really important for us to remain
yeah,
balanced, calm, grounded,
yeah,
because our energy feeds their energy,
protects them. Yeah,
especially in a small confined space. Like as as our worlds are getting a little smaller right now with social distancing and sheltering in place, we are all bringing everything into our homes, whereas before we could be distracted and be outside and not be together 24/7. So that's going to add stresses to
so
the
imagine if you're not getting along with your family, how's that, you know, coming? What's the amplitude of that? If you're not having,
Patsy,
you
the
know,
triggers
let
that
me
are happening all across America right now have
let me
got to be so intense. What if you don't even like your husband? Fortunately, we do. But, if you're in a relationship that's not really in alignment for you and you're now forced
yeah.
to physically be together, this can be a very stressful time for a lot
I
of
have
people.
witnessed that with a couple of clients that it's like how they say the shit hit the fan. So where I work with them in the sense of where they are in their own personal individual journey, because change doesn't happen if you're not in it. It doesn't happen without you. So you can't expect a person to change if you're not make making implementations to improve your life by taking those steps. So when we take a look at, let's say, working with feng shui or working with energy modalities like Marconics or just light mastery work, where are you right now, emotionally speaking? What are those things that are impeding you or making you feel stuck in areas of your life? And at the same time, when I work with them, I describe and explain how everything we create within the home, it's a part that's within us. So it's just projecting our emotions, projecting our state of mind. Everything is a projection of you and feng shui perspective. When we take a look at certain areas of the person's life, we take a look at what area of your body that is triggering. And sometimes it's an organ, sometimes let's say it's an eye, the hand, and the head. And we take a look at that space and we see what's not in harmony, right? What is going on with that? And it's really interesting when we go layer by layer by layer, where are those things reflecting and projecting in your space. And they get those little aha moments like, oh my God, I really need to pay attention to this. And it's right in your face. You just don't
For
choose
example,
to
if
see it.
you're living in a cluttered
Yeah.
space, I mean, like you're saying, that is a reflection of your internal space, right? That's
Neglected.
why it's so important to clear things, release things, pack things away, get rid of things that aren't in resonance with you. Because everything really carries
Everything has
energy.
energy. Exactly.
Everything inanimate and alive
Yes.
carries energy, whether that's your plants in your home, your possessions, your children, your spouse, you. We're all energetic
Yeah.
beings and we're all vibrating at a different
Mhm.
rate
Yeah.
or different frequency.
And also the different areas of the home also correlate to specific emotions. So for example, it's interesting when we take a look at the relationship area of a home. It's related to sister, it's related to mother, it's related to heart, it's related to all the organs. So it's really interesting. Love is everything, right? And we all come from a mother per se, right? So imagine how deep that connection is. And self-love as well. How are you treating yourself, right? So if you're having a lot of difficulty, dealing with emotions, dealing with heart energies, it's important to take a look at not just the internal, but also see where that's reflecting here. Every single space is taking a hit as well.
Absolutely. I think also there's a lot of fear right now. So foundation, that root chakra, that fear is really coming up and triggering people where they're vulnerable, whether it's financial fear, physical, getting
Yeah.
sick, a fear of not having enough, that lack.
Abundance, and that's also the feng shui sector. Abundance is foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that first chakra. It's the survival center.
Right. And I think a lot of people are in overdrive around that, over compensating, overreacting, and not really managing their emotions well. And we are human, so I understand that chaos and change can be so uncomfortable for people, but maybe you can share some tips on how people can really shift their mindset, because I'm a firm believer that our perspective drives our behavior.
Yeah.
So changing our perspective is very important, but maybe you can offer some tools and tips that will help some of the people watching our conversation today to reset and come back to center in their lives.
Definitely. Now that we are confined to a very limited space, I would say start with you first. If you really want to have a harmonious or at least a simple day to go by, you want to be productive if you're working from home, if you want to be able to communicate with your spouse, with your children, okay, if you want to be able to have a good sit down dinner or lunch or whatever, some place that you create community, how do we start with that? So I would say really take care of your needs first. Take that time in the morning to just sit by yourself as soon as you wake up and call in your guides, pray, meditate, just really ground that energy.
Connect to yourself too, right?
This is like what I call my sacred space, my sacred time. Because let's say I will sit down, I grab my pillow, position myself in a seated way where I'm balanced, my back is straight and, pointing up, my head is there, and just positioning myself to receive guidance. Just positioning myself and just breathing deep, just saying gratitude for anything that's happening, right? For your health, for your life, for the people around you, for the near future that we are creating in this present moment. Okay, so keeping it present, just being here. Then from there on, if you have the time, I would say do a detox tea. Definitely drink some hot water with some lemon, ginger, pepper, and just really get your energy flowing from there. After that, have a breakfast. But really, it's taking care of your needs first that's really going to help you with your day. If I miss out on a meditation, my 10 minutes of meditation, my husband, poor thing.
He pays the price.
I'm not a coffee drinker in the mornings. That's very heavy for my system. So I do the teas to get the blood flowing. And so I put some spices in there to kind of just get my energy moving. And take a quick shower. That to me is my coffee. The quick shower and get through the day. And really, if you want to be productive, you're working from home, take mini breaks in between big tasks, I would say. Every 45 minutes to an hour, disengage from the computer and just go for a walk around your house. Go to a different room. Pick up a book, read something. Some people may want to go on social media and see what the world is doing, but I would say to still maintain a bit of just focus time. If you want to be productive at home, do that and have a
It's
space for it, you
it's
know?
so important for people to really understand that everything begins with you. You are the foundation of everything you're creating in your life.
Absolutely.
So without honoring that, what Patsy's talking about, without being present, you are not able to create and harness your internal power, truth. You're not in a space to receive that inner guidance. If there's a lot of noise and chaos happening in your energy field and in your mind. So it's really important to set that sacred time aside, even if that means getting up 15 minutes before the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're on their own schedule too. If you know, I have one child. I know some people have four. You know, it's
Mhm.
like that's like the medium here in Texas. You know, four children in a household, and it's like how do they deal with that? You know, so I was talking to a couple of my neighbors, and they're bouncing off the walls,
Yeah.
and
And this is, and we're pretty new to this. We haven't been in this very long
yeah,
here in Houston, where Patsy and I are. We're a little behind the curve, the rest of the country. So I can only imagine when you're 4 weeks, 5 weeks into this.
and not able to get out of your house. At least right now, we can still go outside, go for walks. I see a lot of kids on their bikes now, but not as much as I would think. So there's still some of those old, you know, ways of just being hooked up to a computer or gaming or, you know, all their digital devices that, you know, they're always been so present with kids these days. So I would think that that's, you know, you have to have boundaries within your space too. Like, what if you're working from home, for example? I work from home. I have to have my office space. There are some people that live in a much smaller spaces that will still need to create a place that it's their own, even if it's just a 3 by 3 table.
Yes.
But it has to be their time and it has to be communicated that when it's working hours, we need quietude. I need, you know, not to be disturbed in certain ways, you
I
know.
mean, that's challenging for people with really young children. They don't really have a concept of what that
And,
means.
and I, yeah, and I've been through that. I've been through that, and it was very challenging. Especially, let's say, if I didn't have a nanny at the time, it was you can only do so much, 45 minutes at a time. And it was very frustrating for me to have to drop something because my kid needs
Lunch.
anything.
He needs to eat.
He needs me to get him a toy from a box somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just constant interruptions. And that's something that we need to pay attention to. So, what I've noticed for me that has worked for me is when the kids are quiet, is when I can go and do my work. Most of the time our energy takes blunder because we are as moms, you know, working from home, we still need to take care of our husband, we still need to take care of the kids, we have to clean the house, we have to do this, and we tend to keep our needs met for last, especially when it comes to work. So what happens after dinner? We jump back on the computer. After dinner we get back into, you know, doing some work, and what happens? We have lack of sleep. Then we start developing a different pattern. We start developing a different, you know, waking up differently. And so in the morning, kids are not going to leave you alone.
Well, the burnout is definitely a factor for sure, but also I think it's important at this time because this is such a new way of being for all of us to be kind to ourselves. Be realistic about what you can accomplish.
This is the magic. This is the magic trick. Be kind to those who are helping you. So, for example, I am being kind to my son, my 11-year-old, because that's the way he's going to negotiate better with me. So, for example, I'd say to him, listen, I have this call with Wendy today. He was sharing my office space. I said, if your schedule doesn't temper with mine, I'm more than happy to share the space with you. So he had to, now that he's doing virtual schooling, doing Zoom calls with his class, it's really great. But he didn't want to do that. He was kind of whining and taking his time to do this. I'm like, okay, so if you do this for me, we can do something fun together later, even if it's a 15 minutes reading to him. He likes me to read to him. He likes me to read his favorite books to him. And you know what? It actually made me smile because it's a way that I can also detach from my day to day. My clients some of them are very anxious. There's one of them that's asking to see if we can work on a payment plan, which I'm happy to do. But I'm hearing from other sources that they're being asked to cut down hours, to being cut down salary. And that's a big trigger for these clients
For everybody who has a mortgage to pay or rent to pay or children to support, or maybe a single mom. I mean, what is so interesting to me, because I'm a real observer. So when things are happening around me, rather than being really in it, I do the opposite, and I've been just stepping back and just really observing everything. And I'm a feeler too, so I can kind of feel this pulse of the the collective energy, right? You feel it. You don't have to take it on as your own. So if you are a feeler or sensitive, you don't have to take it on as your own. And I think it's important to clear your energy field every day. I don't know if you want to suggest how people could do that, Patsy, but I think it's important for people to clear their field so that they're not carrying the emotions of everyone around them, their mother, their children, their husband, their employer, everyone you're having contact with. Everything's an energetic exchange.
Yeah.
And you go to the store and you're walking through the store, every person you're passing has energy, and it's all mixing.
What you're going to gravitate to, right? It's not what you do, it's what you're vibrating to.
Yeah, so maybe we could speak to that really quickly.
Well, I like what the exercise that you shared not too long ago with how you protect your energy, right? At least for me, I always tell myself, tell my son, tell my husband, if we're out there, if you're feeling out of sorts, just think of yourself as in a beautiful golden light circle, and you're right in the middle, and you have all these mirrors, right? Kind of like a rhombus, diamond shape, with the top and the bottom open because you still want to receive God's source light. So I tell them to just put themselves in this diamond shape and just project love. I am here, God is protecting me. I am a shield of love and light.
And also create that intention that the appropriate protection is in place for you, because everyone's at a different vibrational space, right? Intention is important.
And that helps me. Actually, just doing that right now made me feel much better, because I dealt with a couple of, not, kind of disturbing phone calls from my client's perspective, and I don't take that energy, you know what I mean? But it's kind of triggering these things of like where we are. Like I was telling you earlier, we had this call with my feng shui mentor, 5D feng shui, I would say, and it's like putting us up to date with where we are as light workers into this. How do we cope? How do we deal with this virus? How do we see it from a spiritual perspective?
Right.
Around that, because she's in New York. New York is in a lockdown right now.
Hardcore.
And yeah, so they're getting a gist of what Italy's been going through right now. And another thing too, we were discussing how do we cope with addiction. And this is the first time that we actually, she mentioned with pure heart, and I really felt this. It's like, how do we deal with addiction? Because to me, it bothered me that people are still smoking in Italy, but she brought this perspective of like, you know what? If you take that away from them, it's gonna be crazy. Because even though now, let's say prior to the coronavirus, we were dealing with addiction, we were dealing with a lot of depression and everything else, and you take this away now with what's happening, I think people are really gonna,
People have to have something.
yeah,
They have to have something, even if someone is stopping, say they're an alcoholic and they stop drinking alcohol, they go to cigarettes, they smoke, they have to have something to hold on to ease the transition.
yeah,
So even though I feel those things, anything that you're putting into your body that is not,
no.
honoring and nurturing and fueling your body from a holistic standpoint is not going to be good for you.
What I also recommend, Wendy, and this is a good way to touch, if we're feeling that vibe, that dross just coming onto us, do salt baths
Sea
at night.
salt baths are huge. That's a
Yes.
daily practice for
Yeah.
me.
At nighttime, right before you go to sleep, even if it's 15 minutes in the tub with the, salts, a little bit of
It's a
lavender oil,
detox. It's a
eucalyptus,
detox.
lemon, do it. Oh my God, that you're gonna sleep
That's
like a
just
baby.
a non-negotiable thing for me in my life.
Yeah.
So let's just recap really quickly what we've talked about so far. First of all, I know a lot of you are going through a lot of stress. That's a given. But we get to choose how we respond to our lives, what we want to create in our homes, and how we are carrying ourselves and the choices we're making going forward moment to moment. So Patsy and I are very grounded in our spiritual practices that help to create peace, harmony, and balance as we navigate these uncharted waters. And so sea salt baths are wonderful.
Yeah.
Energetic protection,
Yeah.
as Patsy said, placing yourself in a golden, it doesn't really matter what the shape is, but that you are in a golden type of sphere, rhombus, whatever shape feels appropriate for you. But make sure that there's an opening and clear space on top and a clear space below your feet. You want to be accessing the earth and also accessing your higher self and guidance. You don't want to be totally sealed and shut off. You want to have that open, clear panel above and a clear panel below so you can actually remain in alignment and continue to receive guidance and information from your higher self.
Yes. Also,
Also,
the no touch Marconic
no
therapeutic.
touch Marconic sessions are really helpful right now. And this is the exact moment and reason why Marconic energy was brought in to the planet at this time, is to be of service to humanity, who are people who are looking to release things that no longer serve them and elevate vibrationally. We are here to be in service to all of you, and we do distant sessions. So really, feel if this is something that would resonate with you and benefit you. Patsy and I are both Marconic level 4 practitioners. We're here to support humanity at this time.
Yeah.
And we want to be in service. All of the light workers on this planet are being called to service at this time. This is like an event horizon. When I'm saying I step back and observe everything that's happening, this is a global reset for humanity. This isn't just about the virus. The virus is like the match, right?
It's a wake-up call.
It's a wake-up call. It's an opportunity for us to come in and connect to ourselves, don't you think, Patsy?
Definitely. It's interesting that, when we work with energy, right? Our spirits are open, our hearts are open, but the physical aspect is always the last one to catch up with everything else. And if there's anything lingering that you haven't healed or mastered, the body's going to take it. And this is one of the reasons why I highly recommend to maintain good thoughts, compassion towards yourself, kindness towards your inner community, family at this time. However, there are other individuals too that are living by themselves. I know a lot of elderly who are pretty disconnected,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that to pay attention to. Like I have an old friend who if I don't call, he won't call. And I just ask, how are you doing? Fine. But he's almost 80 years old.
Oh gosh.
And he took a huge hit during Harvey hurricane. And so for him, it has been very difficult having to deal with something like this because not only he lost his house, he lost his job, as a chiropractor. And, pay attention of, all the blessings in my life or what other people are doing. But I think it's time to also, if somebody comes to mind, an old friend, an acquaintance, pick up the phone, call them,
Connect.
send them a text. And it's not about you serving your needs. Oh, I got to do this because I got to do it. No, you do it out of compassion.
You do it
Kindness.
because your heart is calling you to do it. You don't do it from an ego standpoint, like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and show up for all these people and then I'm going to post about it.
Well, let me tell you, that was very humbling to me. I have a wonderful relationship with my web developer. We've been working for 10 years. Outstanding, remarkable work. I mean, he's amazing. But we always kept very, very good boundaries because we only communicated via email and via phone for the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I had not heard from him for about a week, and that was very different. I said, understanding, he has a young son and young family. And I said, okay, I'll just give him some time. But it concerned me to the point that I haven't heard from him for a week. That never happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to text him for the first time yesterday. And I said, I don't want to alarm him because we do have some things pending for work. Nothing urgent, things that I can do myself. But I said, this is just a note to let you know I'm thinking of you. I hope you're well. And so he found the surprise and like, thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear from you. Because and then he told me what he's going through with some nasal sinus virus or something. Of course, it's alarming because you never know, right?
Of course.
And then I just sent him a nice a message from the heart about telling him how it doesn't matter what's going on, his health is his wealth. To be kind to himself because he's always, he delivers all the time. And I can understand he could be under a lot of pressure right now, doing a lot of programming and all that. And I said, be kind to yourself, take care of your needs. You're a wonderful person, and I can't wait for you to, be back on board. But take your time, please. Take your time and recover.
Extending that grace to the people around us is so important. And I have been really spending a little extra effort in expressing to my husband how much I appreciate everything he does for our family. Verbally expressing it and providing good meals.
Language.
What?
Communicating in his love language.
Yes, because I think we take each other for granted. We take our friends for granted, our families, our spouses. we take people for granted. And, you know, when we come into a stressful situation or a time where we're all being forced to get real intimate and be in small, tight spaces, we need to extend each other grace. And like you said, Patsy, open our hearts and really communicate love.
Mhm.
It has to be from the heart. If you're resentful, don't say anything.
If you don't feel anything, don't say anything.
Don't say anything if it's not really from your heart. But I wanted to express to my husband how much I appreciate him working so hard for us, providing the life he provides for us, and supporting my work and seeing me. You know,
Happy.
when we are able to share our truth and our love with others, it does come back. Then, and also they feel good, and then they in turn spread that to someone else. It's just this beautiful ripple effect.
Yes.
So let's try to be kind, you know, and loving to each other, for sure.
And the one thing too, I know we're on high alert. I know a lot of people are trying to make ends meet or seeing how they're going to have to live without finances flowing in their spaces. A lot of stress, right? Mental, emotional. But at the same time, I highly encourage your audience to pause, and really take care, mind your energy, really take this time for, personal therapy, doing praying, journaling, anything to use that energy and however you want to express it. You need to express yourself.
Self-exploration right now is so
Self-discovery.
powerful.
Where am I? Who
Self-discovery.
am I? What the hell am I doing here? There are times that I I go blank. And the way that I take myself from that is when I concentrate on others, because I work with things and people I love and I enjoy serving. So perhaps my way of communicating may not be in immediate, in the one to one within myself, but it's a reflection of how am I going to utilize this time, honor my client, honor my friend, honor my companion, right? Honor my pet if I'm not happy with myself, right? That we will have times where we just want to do nothing. All we want to do is sleep, cry yourself out. It's good to do that.
Yes, that release, that emotional release is,
Release. Do not contain yourself.
yes, don't suppress it. You need to feel it. You need to feel it to release it. And that's what this is about, these triggers that
Yes.
allow you to shed and release all the things that are no longer serving you, the things and feelings you've been avoiding. You have got to process those feelings in order to elevate and shift into a new way of being. This situation is a gift because you are being given time to look at yourself and process your stuff. And that is the only way to create the life that you want to create. If you don't, you're holding all of these things that aren't in resonance and alignment with you. It's like carrying heavy weights and pulling weights behind you as you're trying to run a race. It's all of this stuff is holding you back. So this is a real time of self exploration and discovery, I think.
And the way I'm thinking about it too, as the earth is going on pause button, right? And that big stop button, we're still going, we haven't hit it yet. We're almost there. So once that happens, who knows, right? Quietude, desperation, chaos, who knows what's going to happen at that level. And then we take that time to pause. But I feel that if we don't prepare ourselves for this impact,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be really hard to catch up when we get to flourish again.
Yeah. We're definitely encouraging you all to utilize these tools that have helped us, because how we respond to life is going to either elevate us or destroy us, basically. You get to choose how you're going to move forward, how you're going to show up in this time. And having that foundation of grounding yourself, I mean, get outside in your yard, walk in the grass barefoot, deep breathe,
Sunlight,
ground yourself.
take sunlight.
Sunlight, nature, if you live near nature and you can get there with social distancing, do it. It's very important.
You know, if you can still get out, I actually honor my husband whenever he asks me to go for a walk with him. A month ago, before this started, right, I would not have the time to go with him for an hour walk.
Mm-hmm.
I was just too busy
Mm-hmm.
that. And this time I said, you know what? I am busy still, but I am going to honor this time with him. And it's the only time that I actually have no phone with him. I don't carry my phone, and just either walk quietly or we talk without interruption.
Mm-hmm. It's really interesting to see the busyness of the world and the distractions that come with that kind of fading away. You know?
I see that happen more. It's like going back to basics. One of the, for me, I'm just going to share a little bit with you. We all have different realities, right? Your reality is different than mine. Your experiences are different than mine. Certain countries have dealt with this on different levels, similarities, especially coming from a place like in El Salvador, where we had to deal with civil war and martial law.
Mm-hmm.
Other places like where, natural natural disasters have happened, hurricanes, earthquakes, where cities and towns and even countries have been shut down
Mm-hmm.
because of this. And we thrive again, with a lot of effort. There have been opportunities, and even Harvey. I mean, some people were
Yes.
inside their homes for at least 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
inundation and all these things. So in some ways, it doesn't feel so different, but we, like I said again, we never experienced that the whole world is going to be on shutdown.
Like a global shift, a global experience. Yeah.
So if you think about it, we are terminating, culminating, how we talk about new age, new era, new evolution, a new dimension. We close the doors on all these three-dimensional ways of thinking.
Mindsets.
It's time for divine mother essence. This is time for creation. This is creativity now surfacing. Okay, those old ways, the paternal ways, this is the time for the matriarch to rise.
Mm-hmm.
This is divine goddess and divine mother essence.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna feel it, but it's like everything else, it has to erupt before we get to see calmness, and like a volcano.
Almost too, it's like you have to have an awareness around everything first. In order to have the awareness, you have to have silence. You have to have presence. That's what this is giving the world, is that opportunity to have that silence, to really take a look at how you're showing up. What are you holding on to in your life that is creating resistance or drag in your field? What is not in alignment with you that you are still clinging to desperately? Because I was just talking to my husband the other day, and I was saying, here's the thing, you get to keep what you fight for. You want to keep fighting for stress, and discomfort and resistance and lower vibrational energy. You get to keep that, you get to be that, you get to live that.
Yeah.
If you can pause and step back and recognize all the things that are no longer serving you and have the courage to just release it and create space for something that does align with who you are going to change your life in such a powerful way. And that will in turn change the life for the better for the people around you, you know? So be mindful of what you are fighting for.
And
What
what
are you
you
holding on to?
and what yeah, exactly. This is the time, springtime is the time for rejoicing, renewal, rebirth. I say this is your time for your own rebirth. It's that pause time. We're still seedlings just ready to sprout. So what are you going to feed that
Plant.
seed? What are you going to be watering on that plant?
Yeah. Our story too, our internal dialogue plays such a huge part in it. You know, I recently wrote an article about pouring Roundup on your garden, which is yourself with that negative self-talk, you know, that constant, um, that incessant chatter that's just telling you you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not enough, that defeatist, negative story that keeps coming up for you. It's time for us to really start fertilizing and watering our garden and shifting our mindset and letting go of that story that we've held on to for so long. This is one of the things I encourage you all to let go, because you're none of those things. You know, you're beautiful, you're a divine being. We all have that God's spark within us and that light within us. It's time for us to allow it to shine, you know?
It's time to forgive ourselves.
Yes.
It's time to really, if you need to get down on your knees and just ask for forgiveness for yourself and everything that has not served you, all the things that you may have regret or resent, doesn't matter anymore. I think time, energy, the universe has given us an opportunity to start over, even if it's at this. I mean, how many times has Earth has gone through different shifts,
Mm-hmm.
tremendous ones.
Mm-hmm.
We're living it now. I mean, we have come to Earth at this present time to create something new, to give life. I don't know. For me, I feel like I am a part of a new beginning. I
Absolutely.
have positioned myself in everything that I've created for that. It wasn't easy. It took me more than half my life to get to where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the results. When I look back, results never lie. Yes, I may have fallen. I may have had to break a lot of relationships in my past,
Mm-hmm.
setting really strict boundaries with my energy and who I'm going to connect with. That's going to take me to that. There were times that I was feeling like I was completely alone through that. But you know what? I kept myself there, kept knowing that my helpful guides were there beside me. And I just continue going, and just, I would say, focus on that one thing that you would love to experience 5 years from now, a year from now. Something that is personal. Do you want to go for a walk, let's say at a beach somewhere? Or you see yourself reunited with a loved one, keep it simple. Just keep it simple, but project yourself in that significant, simple, heartwarming experience. It doesn't have to be like you're going to make $1 million or have X amount of clients or this. No, keep it to yourself.
Well, I'm hoping that people are going to realize that life is not about money.
It's about energy.
It's about energy. It's about connection. It's about love. It's about harmony. It's about service. It's about inviting in the things that bring you joy and the things that matter.
Yeah.
At the end of your life, all the people around you are going to come together and celebrate who you were as a person,
Yes.
not what your bank account number
People are
was.
gonna remember how you make them feel.
How you made them feel. Did you show up? Were you present? Were you authentic? It's
Yeah.
so important. It's so important at this time to find out who you are and be your authentic self, because the world needs you.
Yes.
Your family needs
We
you.
all have beautiful, unique gifts to share,
Yes.
but we
Yes.
have to share them with ourselves. We have to acknowledge we have them.
Acknowledge them. Stop burying your light. Stop dimming your light. Join us. We're
Yes.
all here to come together to lift humanity, to show up as our highest and best selves. Everything is possible at this time. So let's not get too bogged down with the news and the lower vibrations of fear. Let's get excited about who we can become as a result of this experience, you know? And I think on that note, Patsy, I'm going to wrap it up. Do you have any final words you want to share with us?
Let's create a graceful space from within. Just always come back to center and say, I am grateful for who I am. I am grateful for my breath. I am grateful to be here. I am grateful for me. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for your beautiful wisdom and honoring us with your time today. It meant so much to me, my friend, that you created space.
You. Yes.
I
Thank you so
sure
much.
love you.
Vibrating high, babe.
Yeah, always, always. Well, to my audience, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you got some tips to help navigate this challenging time. Be kind to yourselves, and I love y'all. We'll
And
talk to you
you're not
next time.
alone.